Welcome to our latest market update. We've got a huge story developing right now in the global markets, so let's just dive right in. We're talking about the massive rally in precious metals.
So let's kick things off with gold, which has just absolutely shattered its all-time highs. I mean, this is a big deal. It signals a huge shift in how investors are feeling. Breaking out of that sideways grind we've seen for months, it really looks like a new, powerful uptrend is starting.
And hey, gold isn't going to the party alone. Silver is right there with it, surging to its highest price in 14 years. This tells you right away that something bigger is going on here. It's not just a gold story. So let's get into it and figure out what's really happening. All right, so here's the plan. First, we're going to look at what's fundamentally driving these prices up. Then, we'll pull up the charts and see what the technicals are telling us. After that, we'll zoom out to the bigger commodity rally, and finally, it will wrap it all up with the most important takeaways you need to know.
Okay, so the big question is, why? Why are precious metals soaring like this? Well, it's not just one simple thing. It's actually a combination of some really powerful, real-world factors, all coming together at once.
Let's start with silver, because its story is a classic, textbook case of supply and demand. And that imbalance has been building for a while now. Get this, for 5 years running, the world has used more silver than it's been able to mine. That's a huge deal. It's what we call a structural deficit, and it's a massive reason why the price is climbing. There's just not enough to go around for both industrial uses and investors.
And it doesn't stop there. We've got new, major players jumping into the game. The U.S. government just labeled silver a critical metal. You've got massive sovereign wealth funds. We're talking about Saudi Arabia's fund, starting to invest. Then you see countries like Vietnam opening up the floodgates for gold imports. I mean, each one of these things on its own is a big new source of demand.
You know, when you step back, you realize this isn't just about gold or silver. It's pointing to a much bigger trend happening globally. We're talking about a major strategic shift, especially from central banks, away from paper assets and towards real, physical stuff you can hold in your hand. And this slide really shows you that shift in action. Look at what central banks are doing. All around the world, they are literally selling off their U.S. bonds, and at the same time, they're buying up physical gold. It's a clear move to diversify away from the dollar in what feels like a more and more uncertain world. And this chart, this shows you the result of that strategy. Yeah, the US dollar is still the king, but you can see its slice of the pie is shrinking. And what's growing? Gold. Its share is getting bigger and bigger, and it just recently flipped the euro to become an even more important part of what these central banks are holding.
So the fundamental story is obviously really strong. Now let's switch gears and pull up the charts to see what the technicals are telling us.
Okay, one of the most important things to watch here is the gold to silver ratio. It's super simple. It's just how many ounces of silver it takes to buy 1 ounce of gold. Now here's the key. When this ratio starts to fall, it's usually a sign that silver is about to take off and outperform gold, sometimes in a really big way. And right now, that ratio is at a critical moment. It is sitting right on a huge technical breakdown point. If it drops below this level for real, that could be the starting gun for silver's rally to seriously accelerate compared to gold.
All right, looking at gold's chart, it's like a roadmap with some clear signposts. First up, it's got to stay above that key support level of 33.94. That proves this breakout is legit. If it can do that, the next stop everyone's watching is 37.20. And longer term, the charts are pointing towards a potential of 42.30.
Silver's path is just as clear. It's got to break above that $40 mark. But the real test, the big boss level, is that old all-time high around 49.50. If it can smash through that historical ceiling, wow, that would be a huge psychological and technical win, and it could open the door to a run-up towards $57, maybe even $95 long-term. Now, it's really important to understand that this isn't just a precious metals thing. You have to zoom out because we're seeing bullish signs lighting up all across the board in commodities.
I mean, look at this. You've got industrial metals like platinum and copper breaking out. Even stuff like wheat and corn are showing signs they might have bottomed out. So yeah, this is way bigger than just the gold and silver story. It hints at a much wider theme, maybe fears about inflation, and a big shift into physical, hard assets.
So, we've looked at the fundamentals, we've looked at the charts. What does this all mean? What's the bottom line here?
Well, it really feels like we're in a perfect storm for metals. It's one of those rare times when everything seems to be lining up perfectly. You've got the powerful supply and demand story, you've got the big money, the central banks, shifting their strategy, and you've got the charts screaming breakout. And on top of all that, the whole commodities sector is looking bullish.
And here's the kicker. All of this is happening while the bond market is starting to flash some warning signs about the economy. And if we do head into a recession, well, that's usually when safe haven assets like gold and silver become even more attractive to investors who just want to protect their money.
So it all comes down to this one big question, right? Are physical assets becoming the new, or maybe the original, ultimate safe haven for investors? Hey, thanks so much for joining our channel for this market update. If you got something out of this, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and give this a like. It helps us bring you a lot more content just like this.